Well, I'm afraid I'm not in the best position to say. I was kind of, you know, sort of a bit recovering from my own talk, so I just kind of listening. I wasn't really, I wouldn't really be able to answer that.
Just to make one comment about that. I think the key to wonder in that sense is the deepest possible attention, whether chosen or whether almost by instinct or impulse in response to something. You know, we respond to the fire alarm without choosing to. It speaks to us at a fairly immediate level. But there's also a function of choosing what we attend to. William James, for example, the great psychologist, brother of Henry James, said that our experience is what we choose to attend to. There's a nice dialogue in a novel by a Scottish detective writer called William McIlvanney. His protagonist is the usual kind of the cop that's not docile to authority, that's a maverick, whose marriage is broken down, all these kind of things. And he's told off by his rather narrow boss, you should listen to what I tell. I've got 20 years of experience around here. And this man Laidlaw's reply is, you send a carriage around the world, it comes back a carriage. Your experience is what you attend to. And my problem with the virtual world is not that it's virtual. I know a couple of people who will be as much moved by movies as I am by poems. But is the difficulty in the temptation imposed on us by media to read from the surface, to read fast, to be jumping from one thing to another, to have a very short attention span, never to savor things, never to do what Tom said John O'Donoghue did, which was to make these things part of ourselves. They're interested in moving us on to the next story. And it's not, do we believe what we read? It's, does this thing become part of us? Does it become part of our response to the world? And to some extent that also operates beyond our control. We remember not what we wish we could remember, but something stay with us whether we like it or not, and they shape us. So I think the livability, credibility thing, what I learned from hearing that distinction is that we remain in the Christian community, for example, if the community means something to us, not if we believe what it says. I knew a rather wise bishop who said, the right for Christian initiation of adults, what makes the difference is whether the people go beyond hearing the teachings of the church to becoming friends with people in the community and see what it means to them. Is that something of the difference, livability and credibility?
Yes, it certainly is.
I think that's part of, if you like, an intellectual discipline. My own struggle in the office from day to day is to find an hour for the most important thing to be done that day without being sidetracked time and time again by the endless interruptions. And that's a challenge. But you need focus to do good work. You need focus to pray. You need a willingness to do nothing else at least. And that's a challenge.
For Michael Paul, he spent hundreds and maybe thousands of hours in his office especially when he was teaching literature at UCD, and people typically came to him with a problem about an essay, and that's how the conversation began. So he managed to break through. It wasn't at that time, it wasn't the internet world, but there was always something to be broken through. For example, someone came to him one day to talk about an essay, and in the middle of the discussion, the student said, "I'm an atheist, you know." And so Michael Paul totally ignored the comment and kept giving him feedback on his essay. And he said, you're a priest, aren't you supposed to do something about that? So Michael Paul said, I wouldn't dream of responding to anyone who speaks to me in that tone about faith, because faith to me is so precious. It's not something I'm going to argue about. If sometime you want to hear about my experience of faith, I'll be more than happy to share it with you. But now let's continue with the essay. So he was taking a risk there because, and they did continue with the essay. The fellow went away, a young man, but he did come back a few days later, and he looked at it. Everything was a bit tense. The fact that he came back already said a lot. And he started. They talked about this and that, and then he said, "There's a problem I have. I want to talk to you about." And Michael Paul waited, and he said, "I've asthma." And Michael Paul waited for the next thing. But in fact, that was almost everything, because it turned out, because of his asthma, he felt cut off from people. He felt angry at God and alienated. And so Michael Paul said he learned a useful lesson that day, that behind many aggressive declarations, "I'm an atheist, you know," there's actually a softer reality of personal hurt. And he had that knack to get through that. And I think it's by paying attention to someone, to help people get in touch with their own experience. But that demands listening and saying, even there he had to say something slightly. There was a disagreement, let's say, the fellow was aggressive, he responded. The young man could have gone away and that could be the end of it, but you take a risk, don't you? So how can you get through Douglas Coupland, the novelist that Michael Paul likes, said a couple of years ago, "I miss my pre-internet brain." He was doing an interview at the time, and he was remarking to the person interviewing him that he was sitting in a lobby in a hotel in London, and there was 20 people there. No one was talking, everyone was scrolling down on their devices and so on. But I guess by spending time with someone, by helping them to get in touch with their deeper self, it's an art, isn't it?
And that's what I think, pre-internet, that line from Philip Larkin, "Some bitch who's read nothing more than witch." Okay, as if somebody who doesn't read has no depth of experience. The narrator's condemning himself, not the non-reader. We can help people, but people are arriving at it in their own way sometimes. I lived for a year in San Francisco teaching at university, so Silicon Valley, just outside the gates, as it were. And someone told me of a dinner party among the techies in Silicon Valley, and what they did, they threw their cell phones onto the dining table, and the first person to touch the cell phone paid for dinner.
Lost like a Jesuit in Holy Week would say, we're going to say experts on liturgy. I came across someone recently though, Church of England, is it Guite or something? He writes poetry, and he has a long post, and he's written a lot of sonnets, and he's also, he makes that connection that you're talking about between liturgy. Just last week I was celebrating Mass for a group from Germany, the Stag Party. Eine heilige Messe auf Deutsch, and we're a 10-year reunion for a Stag Party, so they wanted to talk about friendship, so we integrated, for example, our psalm was there was 12 of them, each of them took a phrase, a famous phrase in German on friendship, and read it out one after another. We said together the post-communion prayer was the St. Francis of Assisi, the prayer, his famous prayer, "Lord, make me an instrument of your peace." So, it's quite quite simple, I think, to do. I don't know whether people, I mean, I'm not, it's celebrating, you know, this is a smaller group, it wasn't in a big parish, but they were in Dublin for their stag party, but I think it's, and they appreciated it. People, I think my experience is people, when you bring in poetry and literature and treat people as adults who are at liturgy, they're really happy rather than being treated as sub-intelligent, you know. I mean, when you give an intelligent, reflective, imaginative after your gospel or whatever, I find that's people warm to that, don't they? I mean, yeah, when you're honest and I celebrated a funeral mass recently, and we just a month ago, and the man was I knew him very well, and I mean, I started out by saying that I remember the weekend of his wedding. We got to bed at 5:30 in the morning. That was the night before the wedding. But we had just to make it human and to, which it was. But I find sometimes when priests go onto the altar, they become kind of plastic priests, or they can tell great stories and be very. And I'm thinking now of the priest's role in the liturgy. I don't know whether you're just referring to that, but they can lose their humanity and become a plastic priest. But I'm not saying to become a father trendy, on the other hand. I don't know, one those meanderings help.
Just one thing, sometimes it's the congregation, to use the formal term, that carries the energy. So in one of my previous jobs, I traveled a lot in Latin America and in Africa. And so in Africa, at least for me, I was really caught up in the energy of congregations dancing. And in Latin America, often congregations singing music which is vivifying. I mean, the trouble with the English music tradition is, at least in the Catholic side of it, it doesn't take, the music is very basic indeed and becomes far too familiar and often kind of doesn't nourish the imagination at all. But there can be a real sense of it. It isn't that, if you like, the one presiding has to carry the energy of the group. You can, if I speak for myself, the liturgies I remember are when you're caught up in the group and you're part of it. So there's so ecstasy standing outside, almost. The tension between what's familiar, which is good in a way. Every new translation, though, is an attempt to get us to read the stuff freshly. Sometimes it succeeds and sometimes it does the reverse of that. But even these defamiliarization tactics are tried in liturgy with more or less success.
Chris, Robert Fraser, he takes a pretty specific, your last example was from the American poet Leeds. I think it would be my contention that the last line completely ruins that poem. It's a marvelous poem up to the last line, but it attempts to cut a question with a pseudo-liturgical gesture.
Well, that's my fault, not hers. I had to make a cut at that point. There are 3 or 4 lines after that, which I didn't find even the original poem a very convincing conclusion. And I had a dilemma as to where to cut it off. But please don't evaluate her poem from the way I can.
Then I just get on to the larger point of when a poet tries to.
Well, yes, I shared those worries. Having lived in Brussels for 9 years, I had a little bit of a roadshow in the lead up to the Brexit debate here. And so I was kind of engaged in debates in Oxford, London, and Brussels itself. And the language in which that debate was conducted, I found difficult to bear. It trivialized kind of out of all recognition of issues at stake, including the government's own pamphlets, to persuade us to remain. From the outside, that seems to me to be equally true of the Donald Trump campaign in the States. His lack of respect for language seems to embody a lack of respect for people.
One can't resist that as an American, sorry. Or vice versa. Maybe it's just lack of respect for people that devolves into a lack of respect for language. I don't know. He speaks on about it. Just came back from the States and was sobered by how divisive and bitter the atmosphere was. I was among 8,000 academics in San Antonio, Texas, so most of our colleagues were in a mood of shock and horror, and most of the people around us in Texas were so happy or so amused, I think, by the victory. But it's an example, I think, where language has just gone terribly wrong, where the language of someone like Donald Trump has gone so terribly wrong in failing to see anything that connects people, that brings out decency among people.
Keep puckering on, really.
That's a wonderful entree to lunch. We'll keep buggering on and carry our conversation with us to lunch, which I think is down the hall here. Oh, sorry, it's here. There we go. Any last words before we depart to lunch or gather for lunch? Yeah, we resume at 2 o'clock here. So lunch is served, and let us join in thanking both Frank and Tom for a